Slice of life is a term that gets thrown around quite frequently because it's an easy way to describe nothing happening, or at least a plot that barely exists, is barely tied together, just regular, ordinary life. One of the nice things about the genre is it's very, very accessible. And that's extremely important when you're trying to get a large viewer base, or even any viewers at all. It needs to be easy to walk into. And this is a show that really has a good foundation in that. It's a short little slice of life that centers around two newlyweds that are, in their own little unique way, very dysfunctional. And this pretty much builds most of the comedy for the show, with their sandpaper-like relationship and all the nonsense they get into. And given its genre, you'd think its plot and its general narrative would be relatively simple. You'd kind of expect a Lucky Star level plot where nothing goes on, especially with such a limited time span they have for basically a 3-minute episode every time. But that's where the show really shines. It goes out of its way to actually develop each character that gets introduced very well. One of the strongest things about the show actually is its comedy. It comes off as extremely witty and sharp, and the timing just in general is very, very good. And despite the frequent cuts they make, the plot actually moves at a very steady pace. Though I say that there is very little plot because there's just not enough time to develop anything fully. Despite that though, it actually comes off as a very intelligent commentary on how adulthood past degrees and graduations, and even into marriage can be very unusual and unsettling. How basically everyone, as they're moving on, isn't fully ready for the role they're thrust into. It also goes out of its way to show how we cope with these problems with our vices, whether it be tobacco or alcohol or something else. One of my favorite episodes is actually near the end of season 1, where instead of the usual antics of Hajime, we're treated to the perspective of his wife, Kaoru?
Yeah, that's right.
We're instead treated the perspective of his wife, and to demonstrate this, the studio actually drastically changes the animation style to give at least a more artistic style to how we all view things very, very different. It's a very enlightening take because you actually get to see how her perspective kind of warps everything around her. Instead of the usual view we get, it's very muted tones, everything's drawn out, there's a lot more focus on dirt and grime, and it really kind of emphasizes how her depression is lingering on everything she really sees around her. It's a really odd perspective, but the nice thing about it at the very end is how everything around her is very, very droll, except for her husband, and it's kind of a nice, enlightening, positive take on marriage, how you can be in the worst part of your life, but you come home and you see your partner, and it's just, it's a thing. Fuck. I actually lost track of what I was saying now. Damn. And being able to build a world that's so believable goes a long way in demonstrating how talented the author and even the studio is behind this. And it's not to say it's without fault. It's, of course, like I've said, very short, so you can't get much out of it. And a lot of the comedy is rooted in word puns, which the Japanese are super fond of. So the occasional one kind of misses the point because of just translation. I'd have to say overall, it's a very, very good watch. If you're looking to kill just 30 minutes or even an hour going through a very simple slice of life, this is definitely where you want to go. Oh yeah, and the author Shinja keeps getting adaptations, so if you like this, there's plenty of other shows you can watch. So if you're looking to burn half an hour and just blow through a short slice of life, this is probably where you want to go. It's got a good amount of comedy, it's got a good amount of commentary, it's got a good amount of fucking everything, and it's overall just a good, enjoyable experience. It's kind of a shame less people know about it.
Nanda kanda, 今が幸せ